Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Quick video in here on how I get such a high gloss finish on plywood using gloss paint. So I'm going to show you, obviously the angles might be a little bit difficult to see. Hopefully you can see it, the shine and the gloss on it. Here's another simple number I use, look how glossy that is. So what I do to achieve that look, a couple different products. I get the sanded plywood. This one here is from Home Depot, 1/2 inch sanded ply. Okay, so what I want to do is make sure I sand everything down really well. First I'm going to sand it, then I'm going to soak it with this filler primer. Okay, don't worry about going too heavy on this because you're going to sand it off anyways. You really want to have a good heavy application of this. This stuff is a little bit pricey, anywhere from $650 to $850. I think at Home Depot it's expensive, but it works really well if you want a really nice, superb finish. So once I sand this, I'm going to prime this and soak it. Let it sit for about 24 hours or so, depending on what the temperature and humidity is. Winter time here in Michigan, it gets a little bit tougher, so I have to let it dry for a little bit longer, typically up to 48 hours. Once that's done, I'm gonna sand it. So this is after that primer has been sitting for about 48 hours or so. Just leaves that gray finish. So now I just have to sand it with my 220 again. I use the 220 Diablo pads, whatever you want to use. 220 works great, just make sure you're using good fresh sheets of it. So after you soak it again, or after you sand it off, you're gonna prime it again. Now a couple different things you can do. If you want a gray or a dark color, like a dark blue, purple, maybe a black, I like to use the Automotive Primer after I use the filler primer. This is already actually a black tinted color, so it actually works really well. So it's another step for finishing. This stuff isn't as expensive as a filler primer, but again, the Automotive Primer, this stuff works really well. I'll spray it over this. So that's what I'm gonna use for here. I just like to use that because it's a dark color, of course. Now, if you are painting something white or like a yellow, something really light color, instead of the filler primer, you're gonna wanna use this white aluminum primer. This stuff works really well for light colors. Of course, you don't wanna use the filler primer if you're having like a white finish or a yellow finish, because spraying white or yellow on top of the gray is it's just gonna be a terrible outcome. It's not gonna be good for you. So other than that, once I prime it again, let it dry for about 10, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, it just depends, for that second coat of primer. Then you can go right to your paint, and I use my gloss Rustoleum to paint over it, and then just apply some light coats to it and let it sit for a while. So that's how I do it. That's how I do my steps of painting to make sure it comes out a nice smooth finish. Here's a couple of my pieces here. Obviously you can see these numbers are super glossy. Well, this is what I've been using them for the address signs here. So this is how it looks. I do the same method every single time to achieve maximum results. So I got tons of these orders going out. So there's one more over there too. But as you can see, that's how you're gonna do it. Hopefully you can find this video helpful and useful for next painting tips. So stay tuned for more. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks guys.